Authentic Conversations with Coach Rebecca, where we keep it real and 100. No sugarcoating here. Are you ready for some real girl talk? Well, come on in and let's get to it.
This is Prophetess Rebecca D. Huggins. On today, we are so honored to have the amazing Darshaun McAway with us. How are you doing, Darshaun?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We're so honored to have you grace our platform. So we're going to go ahead and introduce, well, we've already introduced Darshaun. We're going to tell you a little bit about his amazing business. Darshaun is the owner of babyauthors.com, which is a children's publishing and animation company. The company publishes children's books to help them seek adventure. So now, Darshaun, can you just tell us what inspired you to start your publishing company?
So, August 8th, 2015, the day my daughter was born, actually had inspired that. I tried to write children's books before, and I was very unsuccessful. But when my daughter was born, I realized the adventure, if you will, and inspiration that I was lacking, that I was ready to experience with my child. So my wife and I, we ended up creating babyauthors.com just based off of pure inspiration from our daughter.
Oh, wonderful. So what I'm hearing you say is that your company was inspired by the birth of your beautiful daughter. And previously, before then, before your daughter's birth, you started to write books. However, you couldn't go forward with it, or it wasn't the time. And then shortly after your daughter's birth, the inspiration was there.
Yeah,
That is
because
amazing.
yeah.
Go ahead. You were going to say something else?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say yeah because I had godchildren and nephews, but I just being a parent, it's a big difference when you have your own child. The love that you have for your child is different than the love that you would have for a brother or a sister or a niece or a nephew. So that inspiration solely came from my daughter. I was writing adult literature beforehand, but I always wanted
Hmm.
to get into children's books. So.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So now, what is the title of the first book that you published or that you wrote for, that was inspired by your daughter's birth?
That book was titled Anaya's Trip to the Rainbow, and it's a
Hmm.
five-book children's series. So we have Anaya's Trip to the Rainbow, Anaya's Trip to Space, Anaya's Road Trip, Anaya's Haunted Halloween, and Anaya's Trip to Atlantis.
Awesome. So Anaya is your daughter's name.
Yes.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And it's a five-book series. Wonderful. So now, since the pandemic, and let's back up. So who are you called, or who has God strategically called or assigned you to with your publishing company? We know that it's for children. You write books for children. Can you give us a little more detail or information about your ideal clients?
So typically what happens with babyauthors.com, we actually reach out to parents who are trying to either independently publish or get their children's books on a commercial level. So what we decided to do at babyauthors.com was do a proof of concept first. So we started with our own daughter first, get the books out there, and anybody who wants to figure out a way to write a children's book or how to get it published and put it inside of like big box retail stores, we kind of cater to that demographic.
Awesome. That is so awesome. So what I'm hearing you say is that, your ideal client are the parents who have a desire to write a book, and when they connect with you, when they partner with you and your company, you help them. You take them through the beginning stages of the publishing, the writing process, the publishing process, and then you help them to get on a commercial level into the
Yes.
big franchises like some of the books, Walmart books, and some of the other companies. And so
Yes.
that's amazing. So since the pandemic has transpired, How has your business been impacted?
Well, so at first it was impacted by the postal service. We had a
Mhm.
lot of people overseas trying to get merchandise from us, such as like socks and shoes, and some of the bedspreads that we have. And so we were impacted through the postal service. So
Mhm.
lately, what we've been doing and putting together is pop-up shops because the postal service is still messing us up. Some of our merchandise isn't getting to people until like a month later. So currently, what we're doing, uh, uh, even tomorrow, if you will, because of this interview, we're going to be doing a pop-up shop. So we've been
Mhm.
affected through the postal service, but in order to get over that, we decided to go back to the grassroots and start locally and start reaching back out to the people on a local level.
Awesome. So, what I'm hearing you say is that since the pandemic has been here, it has hit the land. The postal, your business has been impacted because of the postal service, and you have international clients as well as clients in the United States and locally. So, for your international clients, they've been getting their packages, their products and services, their products a month later than usual. And so I have another question, which is a follow up question. So I noticed that you were saying that you offer additional merchandise. So tell us about the merchandise that your company also offers.
So yeah, we got into the shoe business, if you will, and we're
Mhm.
doing bedspreads. We have the socks. We have some of the face masks. We're also coming out with umbrellas, um, baby bags, everything
Mm.
that roughly caters to the storyline of Anaya's adventures. So when parents purchase our merchandise, we want to make sure that the kids really fall in love with the character, really going on the adventure with Anaya to experience what she's experiencing. So everything that we came out with the shoes, the socks, the baby bags, has everything to do with what Anaya would carry on her adventure.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, what I'm hearing you say is that the product line that your company offers is in alignment with your daughter's book, and anything that would cater to your brand. And so that's awesome. So, another question is for your publishing clients. Now, since your daughter's product, your daughter's book has socks, umbrellas, and other merchandise, do you also offer your clients the same services as a part of their publishing package, or can you expound upon that a little bit?
So the answer is yes, but sometimes a lot of people understand that they may not want to get into the merchandising space because they're not ready.
Mhm.
Some people really just have aspirations just to publish a book, and if things start to open up later, then they'll be open to it. But for the most
Mhm.
part, what we've experienced with our clients is they really just want to get the book out there. Some people just want to have the book for just personal reasons. They just want to tell their own story to their child and just have that book passed down from generation to generation. So we do have some people who have entertained making merchandise, but once we tell them basically the ins and outs, some of them kind of back away from it just a little bit because it is a giant step. When you enter into big box retail stores, the demand for those stores is like you wouldn't believe. So it's not just,
Mhm.
oh, I have a cute product and I should get it inside the store. There's a demand to these big box retail stores because you have to have certain assurances to let them know that you're going to show up every day.
Mhm. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, what I heard you say is that yes, you do offer the same services that your daughter's product has, her book has, with the with the shoes, with the umbrellas, with the T-shirts, with the bedspreads, and things of that nature. Your potential clients, your current clients, they have that option to go that route. However, a lot of them, once after talking with you, conversing with you, and finding out how it's a major deal. And it does entail a great deal of commitment for what your clients to consistently show up, and there's a process that they must go through. So some of them opt to just do what? Publish the book. So now, where do you see your publishing company going? And let's specifically talk about like your daughter's book, because it is a 5-part series. Do you see it turning into an animated show, or has God spoken to you and your wife about that, where it's going? Because it has so much potential to actually get on the air, to actually be a stage play or something to that effect.
Actually, the animation part is what we're working on next. We had actually changed our mission to not just be a publishing company, but a animation company. So we're diving into animation. Part of the reason the merchandise came out is to just get people familiar with seeing our daughter as a character, because we want to go into the digital content. We believe that our digital content is going to have a lasting impression. It's a more positive image. It's also a great image for families, and not to solely focus on any type of color issue, but it is going to be very important that young Black girls and young Black boys see a family structure. I think, for us diving into animation, we know that children relate to cartoon characters, and they really relate to a real cartoon character, nothing that looks made up. So we're diving into animation. We're going to get into video games, which would be like the Google and app stores and things like that. So we're slowly taking off. We have some milestones to still complete, but yeah, we're getting very close to coming out with an animation film. We're in the process of working on some things now.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Because one of the, and the reason why, we wanted to hear your response to that question is because, like, I see, and we can see the big picture, like you and your wife. Yeah. So, it's really an open field. It's an open market. And, God, and I'm just honored to have you here to just share and just to serve as an inspiration to parents who want to do what, who want to publish their books, who want to get in the digital market. It's like you are doing what you and your wife are doing it. And that's so amazing. And something else you said is that it's so important during this time for our African American children, and you don't focus on race, but it's really important for them to see what the positive family structure, and considering everything that is going on globally, the racial tension, and just the family unit in and of itself, which has been under attack, and so I commend and I celebrate you and your wife for being the positive example during this time. And I know that the mark that you're going to make and that you're making in this industry is one that will never be erased.
Thank you.
And it's really going to help so many family units, so many structures, so many people, so many African American people and Caucasian, Caucasians and Indians and all of the other, nationalities, to see like this is amazing, because it's doing what it's affirming, and it's showing them that, look, African American families, they have it together, and that's just really awesome. And that's awesome. And to show your daughter and to allow little boys and little girls to see themselves in your daughter's book. That's going to elevate their self-esteem. Go ahead.
I'm glad you mentioned the boys. We do have some merchandise for the boys. My daughter actually was she said a catchphrase, and I took that catchphrase and turned it into the boys line. And the catchphrase that she used was "Come back, kangaroo." We usually put a kangaroo on the end of our videos that kind of like disappears. So she thought that, the kangaroo was going somewhere. So she said, "Come back, kangaroo." So we have the boys line that's titled "Come Back, Kangaroo." We have the baby bags, the socks, and some shoes. So it's not the Anaya's Adventure series is not just for girls. It kind of turns into a boy and a girl type of deal. The way we wrote the books was to keep in mind that we wanted other. When I say other children, I'm talking about the boys. We wanted boys to learn how girls think, if you will, and take adventures. That's going to be very important. So if there's any parents, especially any single male parents, fathers, my books aren't just catered to, just having the girls do pretty things and stuff like that. I'm actually teaching people like learning aspects. Our books have a lot of words in there that your kids need to pay attention to. When we started the books, we wanted to make sure that parents were taking the time and reading to their children and having their children read back to them. So it's not just a line for girls. We do have something for the boys as well.
Look, that's awesome. And, I'm a middle level educator, 26 years. And so I teach English language arts. And then I have a grandson, Zion Cotter, who's 6. And so one of the things that I have found is that, with males and females, as you said, and you mentioned it, like they learn differently, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because they learn differently, like with the females, they're very vocal, their verbal skills are definitely higher than the males, and so the males they learn and they process differently, and their vocabulary. We constantly have to do what, like you said, read to them and have them to retell the story. And for the males, it takes a little more effort.
Yeah. Yeah.
It takes a little more effort, and with the effort, it comes commitment from like the parents and the educators and everybody to work with them. So I'm so glad to hear that that you have your books are also catered to the male population as well, young males, so that they can see those high frequency words that they will encounter when they're in school. So that is amazing. I'm going to check it out after this and get some things for my grandson. So that's amazing. That's amazing. So now, what would you like to leave our audience with?
I would like to leave everybody with this. You're going to be considered an underdog for a very long time. You have to understand that whatever dreams and visions that God gives you, they're for you to see through. And what's going to happen when people start to see you, then they're going to start to believe. But you can't give up on the vision that you have for yourself. It's going to be tough. You're going to struggle. Yeah. You're going to talk to people and they're not going to understand. A lot of times, the reason why people tell you to stop telling everyone about your dreams is because the naysayers will say, well, why do you want to do that? And what makes you think that people would want to purchase this from you? I come from a place of people saying that to me. They didn't understand that God was giving me a vision to move my family from Florida to Northwest Arkansas, which is where Walmart's headquarters is. I said, I put a prayer out to God and I said, God, if you can just show me how to get my children's book inside of Walmart, I can just, help take care of my family. So what a lot of people don't know about our story is we have family in Northwest Arkansas. I ended up staying with my grandmother for a couple of months. We got the children's books inside of Walmart just based off of me taking a leap of faith. I didn't have a meeting set up. I didn't have a meeting set up. I walked up to the home office, which is a no-no, because you're supposed to know somebody who knows somebody. The vice president of Walmart was walking out of the headquarters. I purposely bumped into that person and I asked him, excuse me, sir, can you tell me how can I get my children's book inside of Walmart? He told me to tell him more about the story. I told him more. He took my business card. 2 weeks later, I had a meeting with the book buyer. And then another couple of weeks later, we ended up having our books inside of Walmart. So you cannot give up on the vision that God gave you. You have to see it through because that's what he gave you. And everyone else will see what God is doing from you.
Mm. Look, Darshaun,
Yes.
okay. I was over here trying to hold my peace. Look, you are just so amazing, and there is so much greatness in you and your family's life and your future and your business. And, I commend you for being a male, specifically an African American husband, first of all, a servant leader, a husband, a father, an entrepreneur, and you are dominating in this space. And so the world, the kingdom, the world internationally and here in the United States, they haven't seen everything that God is doing in and for you, and the kingdom impact is so great. And so I admire you for taking the leap of faith. I admire you for showing up and creating an amazing products, and to get your book in Walmart and
Yeah.
to move where the headquarters is located.
Yeah.
That's a testament of your faith.
Yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's
And
I'm just so. Go ahead.
and I just want to say it was. I'm not going to tell you that I didn't have any doubts, but I couldn't let the
Mhm.
doubts sink in. And here's something that's very important. When you become a husband and you become head of household, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have all the answers. My wife, she's a phenomenal helpmate, but there were a lot of things that I had to ask my wife. Hey, are you sure we should do this? I know I'm supposed to lead us, but I'm not exactly for sure how to lead. So
Mhm.
when you get into a marriage, and I'm speaking to the men right now, there are going to be
Mhm.
times where you're not 100% for sure what to do. You're not going to always have it. You're going to run into some situations financially and physically with your
Mhm.
health that are going to test you to see how
Mhm.
strong and how much you believe in God for yourself. Because you still have to have leadership. You still have to follow under God's rules and obey by the law of the land. So, to every family that's out there, keep on doing your thing. Keep your children close. Keep on reading to your children because what you want to have happen, you want them to be competent communicators in the world and to get their point across.
Yes. 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 Listen. Whew, I'm just blown away. And I just thank God for just having this time together. How can our listeners get in touch with you?
Okay, so I love to give out my number. This is my actual number. My number is
Mhm.
918 552
Mhm.
0278. You can go to
Mhm.
babyauthors.com. Again, that's babyauthors with an S.com.
Mhm.
And if you
Mhm.
want to learn more about me specifically, you can go to darshaunmcaway.com. On my website, you're going to see all the business endeavors I've ever created, such as a cologne line, my own clothing line. I have a podcast, the children's book, some of the clients that we have that publish under me. So, you're going to go down a huge rabbit hole, but that's the best way to get in contact with me. I answer emails all the time, but please keep in mind that I am a family man and I'll get back to you accordingly.
Yes, I love it. I love it. So, everyone, we want to thank you so much for tuning in. And we do thank our amazing guest, Darshaun McAway, for being here. Talk to you soon.
Thank you.
This episode has been sponsored by Coach LaMonica Lawrence. If there is ever a time to build wealth for your family, now is the time. Also, now is the time to make certain that you and your loved ones are